But the Road Dogg wasn't done, because not only did he bury Bret the Hitman Hart on his podcast, but he also speculated out loud what many of us in the wrestling fandom have speculated as well. If you dig to the deepest, darkest, lowest points of the pro wrestling iceberg, you will find the people that will believe that the Montreal Screwjob was a work. And Road Dogg himself, the man, he was there when it happened. He was in the building, or at least, he was on the card, I believe. And he thinks it's a work. And he wasn't shy about saying so, or at least would like to tell himself that it could be a work. Check out this clip.
You think Sean knew going in everything about it?
I think he did. I think Hunter did. And dare I say, I think Bret might have. I've thought that for a long time, and it's because I'm cynical and because I'm one of the boys and because I believe everything's a work and because, you know what I mean? Yeah. I get all that. But it makes me still wonder, because it was a big deal. We're talking. We've been talking an hour about it. You know what I mean? And still don't know. It's still not got any further. That's the frustrating part.
So in Sean's book, he says Hunter, Sean, and VKM and Hebner were the only ones that knew.
Yeah. So that's the story I heard as well. I mean, I've never sat down with Sean or Hunter and said, "Tell me the truth about all that," because I don't want to know the truth. Right. The speculation is funner, and the truth might make it boring.
Look, we've all, as wrestling fans, have had, it's at least popped in our head. Is it a work? Whether we settle on, yeah, it could be, or maybe it is. I don't know. We've all at least speculated. We've all taken a walk down that road. Maybe we turned around pretty quick, realized that it looks like that probably a dead end. It's not a lot of fruit trees to look at down that road. I don't know. I'm just trying to pull out something entertaining you might like to see while you're out for a walk. How everybody likes their fruit trees. They like to go out for a walk and observe the fruit trees. Maybe there's not a lot down that road for some people, and then others like the Road Dogg. And look, Road Dogg was very clear. He doesn't necessarily think it was, but he would like to think it was. If it was the greatest work in the history of works, was it not? What could be bigger than the Montreal Screwjob? Because here we are, it's 25 years later. We just had the anniversary, and we're still talking about it, and we're still speculating on it. Now, I personally don't think it's a work. Now, am I conspiracy minded enough to go, yeah, it's plausible? Sure. Yeah, sure. Of course. I can walk down that road with you. We can walk down that road. You know what I mean? Smoke a doobie, have a talk about it, philosophize. But at the end of the day, I think, 25 years later, it would have came out. And I don't think Bret's that good of a kayfaber. I think Bret's too old and grumpy and just, I think the stroke, and I'm going to tread lightly here when I say this, but I think Bret, after the stroke, didn't have a whole lot of fucks left to give. You know what I mean? The stroke kind of knocked all the fucks out of Bret Hart that he had left to give. And he'll just say shit now. And he's not shy to do so. So I don't think he'd still be secretly holding on to that, as in his back pocket, as that it was, and look, he's an old school guy, and his dad was in the business. He just talked about they just had that Calgary Stampede episode of Tales from the Territories, which was kind of not the most entertaining of the show, but still good stories to be had there. He talked about how his dad would throw the cast on anytime like the mailman came to the door or something, because he had an angle where his arm was broken, but he'd walk around the house without the cast, of course, And so sure, Bret has it in him, or at least was raised to keep kayfabe, but I just don't think, I think if he was in on it, I don't think. Now, here's the thing, the one thing that has me absolutely like, okay, if it wasn't the work, why this, was that Wrestling with Shadows documentary, and why it had such unlimited access. And they were there right after Bret got Brett, they were showing the reactions where was it Brett's wife that was chewing out Hunter in the hallway, or his sister or something, I don't know. And you hear Sean, saying, "Oh, I didn't know anything about it, I swear." And but you see Vince walk by after he got punched, and just all of these things. Like, why? It's weird that cameras were there there that night specifically, and that they were just up in his business and he was going to be leaving anyway. And there's just so many factors, but in why Vince couldn't just let Bret drop the belt to somebody else and then have Sean. Why did he have to drop it to Sean directly? Bret was offering to drop the belt to basically anybody but Sean. Is it ideal? No, you want him to do the favors to Sean. Is it the right way to do business would have been to put over Sean, but he had a stick up his ass about Sean. So fine, you'll drop the belt to somebody else, and then we'll have that person drop it to Sean, right? You do that kind of shit all the time. You didn't have Bob Backlund drop the belt to Hulk Hogan. You had him drop it to the Iron Sheik so that the Iron Sheik could drop it to Hogan. That way you kind of save face. You keep Bob, you don't bury Bob, you know what I mean? You give it to the dirty, rotten, cheating heel, and then the heel gets his comeuppance by the new baby face. And it's just how it goes, you know what I mean? But it could be a screw job. It could be. It's plausible. There's enough there to sink your teeth into for a fun conversation, or go just fucking smoke session to just sit and debate what if. But at the end of the day, I think it would have come out by now. Somebody would have leaked something, and really, what's it accomplish other than, oh, we got to keep kayfabe, brother. Like, they've fucking worried about that at all for anything ever. You know what I mean? There is zero interest in keeping kayfabe with anything. So why, to this day, as a matter of fact, WWE would make more money coming out, and they make tons of money off the Montreal Screwjob anyway. That shit's on every other documentary that they do. But they could come out and they could say, the most elaborate work in the history, have all their pundits. It was the biggest work in the history of wrestling. Kayfabe has never been kept like this. I'm telling you, brother. You know what I mean? There's money to be made on coming out and telling the full story on how we kept kayfabe for 25 years. All these people are going to end up too old to talk about it soon, So it's there. It's not a work, but it is fun to think about. And I get where Road Dogg's coming from, where he says, he would like to think so and doesn't want to actually know the truth because it's funner to speculate. I get that. Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.